Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm really glad that you could join me once again. So one of the things that I'm most often asked is how can I be more charming and how can I have more sparkling conversations? So today I thought that I would offer you a complete episode dedicated to these very topics because after all, if you can be utterly charming and have a wonderful conversation with those around you, then I truly believe you can do anything you want in life. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's start with why being charming and being able to have great conversation is important. Firstly, building relationships. Charm and good conversational skills help you to build strong relationships with others. People are naturally drawn to those who are engaging and can hold great conversations. So in the long term, you're going to build better friendships, partnerships, and networking opportunities. The next important thing is being able to communicate effectively. So being able to charm and engage others in conversation allows for effective communication. It helps in conveying thoughts, ideas, and emotions clearly and persuasively, leading to better understanding between individuals. Next, gaining trust and likability. Good conversationalists have the ability to make others feel at ease. This helps in building trust and likability as people are more open and receptive to those they find charming and easy to talk to. Professional success. In various professional settings, being charming and a good conversationalist can greatly contribute to success. It enhances one's ability to network, negotiate, and collaborate effectively, leading to better career opportunities. Personal growth. Developing charm and conversation skills can have a positive impact on personal growth. It helps in boosting self-confidence, expanding one's knowledge of different perspectives, and improving overall social interactions. And finally, enjoying social situations. Being able to engage in interesting conversation and being seen as a naturally charming person will not only help others, but it will also help you to feel more relaxed and at ease. When you know that people are liking you and enjoying their time with you, it's going to make you enjoy your social interactions much more. So the good news is, being charming is actually very simple and universal. No matter where you go in the world or who you meet, there are 3 simple rules that will make you instantly charming. I call this PRP: polite, respectful, and positive. So let's look at those 3 things and how you can implement them into your life so that you can be utterly charming. So politeness is often seen as a social nicety that governs the way that we interact with other people. But I think that being polite is so important because what it really does is tell those around you that you hear them, you see them, and that you respect them. And what could be nicer than that? We all want to feel valued and respected, and by being polite to other people, you can show them that you are thinking of them and that they are important to you. When you can show other people that you value their ideas and their well-being, it is a great way to build relationships and build respect for not only you, but other people around you. So being polite is very important. When we speak kindly, use our please and thank yous, we're just lifting the atmosphere and environment around us. So politeness has the power to brighten someone's day, lift their mood, and kind of create a ripple effect where if someone else has been treated with kindness and they feel like the other person has been particularly polite to them, they want to go out and do the same thing. So really, politeness is not only important in lifting the atmosphere around us, but also as a ripple effect to create positive change for lots of other people. Now let's talk about the importance of being respectful. Now respect is a value that underpins our relationships with others and in fact shapes the very fabric of our society. I just talked about politeness, and that will get you very far in being charming and a great conversationalist, but you need to also add respect into the mix. If you're only polite but not respectful about other people's needs and the way that they live their life, then it is going to come across as not very genuine. It's very easy to be polite, but if you can't respect other people, you're not really going to get very far. So firstly, respect breeds tolerance and acceptance. In a world that is constantly changing and evolving, it's important to educate and prepare ourselves to step out of our comfort zones. If you respect other people's differences and opinions, whether or not you agree with them, you will set an example for others to follow and you'll be instantly seen as more charming. So yes, essentially being respectful of others is basically just choosing kindness. What I've learned in my short life is that we're all going through something, and often you can't even imagine what other people are going through. So it is always important to show respect and kindness. If you can do that, people are going to always remember that you are that person who shows respect and is always kind, and that is going to make you the most charming person they will know. And lastly, with PRP, we come to positive. Now, being a positive person, I do not need to explain to you why that is important. If you go into a room and you're positive about everything, you have a smile on your face, you shake people's hands, look them in the eye, and just generally have a positive outlook on the whole evening or wherever you happen to be, that is instantly going to make you more charming. Negativity and being a bit down and sad will just bring other people down. So always be positive, always have a smile on your face, enjoy the day, seize every moment, and appreciate the little things. Being positive is hugely important if you want to be charming. Okay, now we've talked about my PRP method, we're now going to move on to my final 8 steps to make you an utterly charming person. Number 1, develop genuine interest in others. Now you can show a genuine interest in others by actively listening to them. Ask thoughtful questions, engage in meaningful conversations, and show empathy and understanding. Number 2, positive body language. Pay attention to your body language, maintain good posture, smile genuinely, make eye contact, and use open and welcoming gestures. This conveys friendliness and approachability. Number 3 is confidence. Work on building your self-confidence. Believe in yourself and your abilities. Speak clearly and assertively, and don't be afraid to express your opinions. However, avoid arrogance and be respectful towards others' viewpoints. 4, politeness and etiquette. Practice good manners and etiquette. Be polite, use appropriate language, and show respect towards others. Small acts of kindness, like holding open doors for other people or offering assistance, can go a long way in creating a charming impression. Number 5, and this is very important, develop a sense of humour. Cultivating a light-hearted and positive sense of humour will enable you to learn to laugh at yourself and find joy in everyday situations. Sharing light-hearted jokes or anecdotes can help create a pleasant and charming atmosphere, which will in turn make you seem like a very charming person. Now, when I talk about being charming, a lot of this may seem like stiff rules, but you need to make sure that you also can inject humour into it, otherwise it will all feel a little bit off. Pay attention to your personal grooming and the way that you dress. Dress appropriately for different occasions and aim to present yourself in a well put together manner. This shows respect not only for yourself, but other people too. So always think about the occasion, how you should be dressing. If you're not sure, always ask, but always try to make sure that you look presentable and put together. Number 7 is develop your social skills. So make sure that you work on improving your social skills, such as active listening, effective communication, and the ability to engage in meaningful conversations. Practice these skills in various social settings to become more comfortable and relaxed, and eventually it will become second nature. And lastly, number 8, show empathy and kindness. If you want to be charming, you have to genuinely care and show compassion towards others. So show empathy by trying to understand their perspectives and feelings. Kindness and thoughtfulness are highly attractive qualities that contribute to charm, so make sure you always work on that. Now remember, charm is all about being authentic and making other people feel valued. It takes a lot of practice and self-awareness, but I think if you really can do that, work on yourself, practice your interactions in various social settings, and really work on being more authentic and making others feel great, you're really going to create a positive impression and truly become the most charming person you always wanted to be. So now that we've mastered the art of being more charming, it's time to move on to the art of creating a great conversation. So this is very important if you want to build connections, improve your confidence, and just enjoy social interactions much more. So I'm going to give you my 10 tips to be an excellent conversationalist. Tip number 1 is to listen attentively. Now, you need to make sure that you pay close attention to what the other person is saying. You need to avoid interrupting and genuinely listen to understand their thoughts and feelings. Now, this is so important when you want to have a really great conversation, because if you're not listening properly, you're not going to be able to create the back and forth that comes with a wonderful conversation. If you really listen to what the other person is saying, then you can take that on board and then offer them follow-up questions which will really make the conversation sparkle. A good example is that if someone says to you, "Oh, I was just on holiday last week and we did this, this and this and this," instead of you then saying, "Oh, I was on holiday last week as well, or last month," instead focus on them. Even though it's very instinctive for us to talk about ourselves, ask about the holiday, ask about what they enjoyed, make them feel like you're so interested in this holiday, and that is going to make a wonderful conversation. So following up from that, number 2 is to ask open-ended questions. Instead of asking simple yes or no questions, ask open-ended ones that encourage the other person to share more details and insights. This helps keep the conversation flowing. So instead of saying, for example, "Did you have a good holiday?" and they say, "Yes, it was really nice, thank you," but that will be the end of it in many cases. But if you said, "Tell me about your holiday. Did you enjoy doing anything in particular? How was the food? Any good restaurants?" then they're forced to elaborate on what you've just asked them, and then you can go into more depth. And then you can take little snippets of that information, relate back to them, and the conversation will just keep flowing. And it will flow to places you never even expected. So number 3 is show interest and curiosity. When you display genuine curiosity about the other person's interests, experiences and opinions, you're really going to make them feel valued. Ask follow-up questions that delve deeper into their responses, showing that you're engaged and interested. So again, this may seem like we're talking about the same thing again and again, but I'm just trying to show you that when you delve deeper into asking questions and show interest in other people, that is really how a great conversation happens. So I want you to be genuinely curious about the people that you meet and converse with. Don't just listen because that is how you create a good conversation. Really be interested in other people. I think that is the greatest thing about being charming and being a conversationalist. The most fascinating people I've ever met have not really told me much about themselves. Instead, they're more interested in you as a person. Be curious. Make yourself want to find out about other people and their world, or what they've done in their lives. And when you do that, you're really going to have a wonderful time with that person. So number 4 is to practice active listening. So you need to show that you are fully actively engaged in the conversation. And you can do this by nodding, making eye contact, and using verbal cues like I see. And this will demonstrate that you are actively listening, and it encourages the speaker to continue. Now, what people tend to do is to interrupt a conversation, and that will kill it. But if you just simply nod your head, or occasionally yes, that shows that you are listening, and it makes the other person want to carry on. So that is a great tip. Tip number 5 is to share personal anecdotes and stories that you have. So sharing relevant and interesting stories from your own experience will help to connect with the other person, and it also adds depth to the conversation. So if you can really listen to what the other person is saying, enjoy their story, enjoy their conversation, but then add a little something that you've experienced or a story that you can share, you're going to create a connection with the other person and really show that you can get on with others and enjoy them. So if you can just remember things that you've done in your life that maybe link with what they're telling you without taking over the conversation, that is really going to build trust and a connection to keep the conversation flowing. Number 6 is to be mindful of your body language. So you need to make sure that you maintain good posture, use appropriate facial expressions, and make eye contact. Non-verbal cues can convey interest and engagement in the conversation. If you are kind of slouched over, or you're jogging on the spot, it shows that you're bored and not really interested in the other person. If you have good posture, you're looking in someone's eyes, and you have a positive facial expression, you're relaxed, you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying the moment, and people will pick up on this and they will want to keep talking to you. So always do those 3 things: posture, facial expression, and eye contact. It's going to really improve your conversations. Number 7, and we have briefly touched on this before, is avoid dominating the conversation. You need to allow the other person to speak and avoid monopolizing the conversation that you're having together. Be aware of the balance between speaking and listening, and you need to give the other person ample opportunity to share their thoughts. Number 8 is be positive and supportive. So maintain a positive and supportive attitude during the conversations that you have. Offer encouragement, validate other people's opinions, and avoid negative or judgmental remarks. Now, we briefly touched on this when I was teaching you how to be more charming, and when you're having conversations, it's also important to remember that too. As I mentioned before, no one likes a negative person, so always try to be positive, make the other person feel happy and uplifted, and you're not only going to seem charming, but you're going to have a much better conversation as well. Tip number 9 is very important, and it is stay informed and be curious. So you need to stay updated on current affairs and topics of interest. This will help you to contribute to a wide range of conversations and shows that you're well informed and engaged in the world around you. So what I always like to do before I go to a party or an event is briefly look at the news or have a look on social media and try to find something that I can talk about later on in the day that is current. Now, I am very clear that I don't like to watch the news every day because I find it quite depressing, but that doesn't mean that I'm ignorant about what's going on in the world. So if you can just try to find something that might have happened in the day, a fun or relevant event to the world now, then you can use that in a conversation, and it will show that you are someone who is of the world and who is interested and engaged in the world, and that will make you have a much more wonderful conversation and appear more charming too. And number 10 is to practice empathy and understanding. So show empathy and understanding towards the other person's experiences and perspectives, and you need to be open-minded and respectful even if you disagree with their opinions. So when you're having a conversation with someone, if they're perhaps telling you a sad story or something that's not going well in their lives, if you can really show them that you're empathetic and understanding towards the situation, it's going to make them feel valued, and that in turn is going to look very good for you. It's sometimes difficult to relate to people's problems if you haven't been through them, but if you can try to understand how they feel and how that's affecting them in this moment, then that is really going to be wonderful for them, because they're going to feel valued and listened to. And again, with being respectful of other people's differing opinions to yours, it doesn't mean that your opinion doesn't count or isn't valid. It just means that as a person of the world, you are able to look at someone, respect their opinion and their decision, and be able to converse with them without getting into an argument, which is really a very difficult thing to do, but will make your life so much better. So I truly believe that by practicing these 10 tips, you can become a great conversationalist who can engage others, build connections, and create meaningful interactions. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode and that it was fun and useful for you. I have timestamped everything in the description box so that if you want to go over a certain subject again or recheck something, you can do. And I hope that this will be useful for you in building your charisma and helping you to have a wonderful conversation with others around you. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time, but until then, take care. Bye-bye.